This is UMAR AHMED for IFL TV in association with MTK Global, joined by Eddie Hearn. Was that a bit of a circus act, Eddie?
Of course it was. The whole thing's a circus. You know, it makes me laugh, like people saying, do you think, are you expecting a great fight on Saturday? It's like, not really. I'm expecting a tear-up between two blokes that can fight a little bit and who have been working really, really hard to try and improve. But how do you... It's a bit like UMAR. These guys have probably got the same ability as me. Or maybe you. I ain't seen you fight.
That's
right?
terrible, man.
Okay, and maybe not you. So, if I went out there at Staples Centre in front of millions of people, I would be absolutely shitting myself. And I would probably be pretty shit as well. And people would be telling me to do this, do that, as if you're going to be able to execute that game plan in that environment. They're not bred to do this. They don't do it day in, day out for a living for 10 years since they were the age of 5 or whatever, you know? They're just two superstars in a completely different environment doing something unique, and they chose boxing to do it. They could have got in Formula 1 cars and done pay-per-view going around Formula 1 tracks. They chose boxing. And actually, I'm pretty pleased they have, because the numbers are huge. We're seeing people following, subscribing pages, platforms that are boxing related. And that's good for everybody. Same with you. Same with like the chat we had at Boxing Social. What they do, 1 million views with that Sideman geezer, right? Yeah, but isn't that what you want?
Well, preferably on our channel.
Yeah, exactly. But you understand. Listen. We live in a world where numbers, subscriptions, views, ultimately dictate the success of what we're doing. We mustn't let it affect the integrity of the sport. And I don't want to start doing this every week. But in terms of a one-off, to look at how it works and look at this audience, and can we keep some of that audience, and can we drive them to become Devin Haney fans, Billy Joe Saunders fans? That's working. That's happening. But hopefully it's a good fight. You know, hopefully it's entertaining, thrilling. And one thing's for sure, I have no idea what's going to happen. And I don't think anyone does.
I know you said the first fight wasn't too bad. We hope this doesn't happen. Just say it's a complete disaster, the main event. Just say it's terrible. Will you carry on putting YouTube cards on?
No, I might not even do it if it's great. Okay. And I don't think. I think this is unique in the respect that you probably won't see a YouTube headline again. That's what I think, because these guys are so big. They stand out a lot from everybody else. Do you understand? You may see a YouTube fight on the undercard or something like that, because you're going to get record-breaking numbers subscribing for DAZN this weekend. A lot of those are going to be this new audience, etc., etc. But how do you keep them? Well, one, you try and convince them of all the great content coming up on DAZN. But obviously, if you've got Jake Paul against Anderson Gibb in January in Miami on the undercard, then they're going to stay for that as well.
Is that a hinter?
You know, it probably will happen. But again, we'll see what happens on Saturday night. But does that affect anyone? Like, you know, I think the biggest gripe fight fans have on this occasion is Billy Joe and Devin Haney being on the undercard. You know, and that, I don't think that'll happen again. But let us take part in this experiment and see what happens.
Now, I asked you about this when Chisora made some comments, but I think that was heat of the moment. He didn't actually mean it. They did mention death up there and they want to put you in hospital. Again, are they serious about it?
They're just not. They're not. They don't understand boxing enough to realise what they're saying. You know, and every time they went down that road, I was sort of just thinking, please don't say that. But again, like, I mean, fighters say it all the time. These guys aren't fighters. They don't understand how dangerous this sport is. You know, they may find out on Saturday night when they get punched by 10-ounce gloves. But I wish people wouldn't say that, and I wish fighters wouldn't say that as well. But ultimately, you know, we put these guys, and this goes mainly for professional fighters, we, the audience, the promoters, the organisers, the media, put these guys in a situation where they are not made to fight, but they're in a fight. So we can't expect them all the time to act normally. I'm not talking about KSI and Logan Paul, but I'm talking about when a fighter says that. Do you know what I mean? This is a unique sport. They're not normal people. They're not in a normal job. So don't expect them to be perfect in everything they say. You know, these two just said it because it's what you say. You know, I'm going to kill you on Saturday night. Like, of course, they don't intend death on each other. But, you know, they don't know enough about the sport to know that they shouldn't be saying that.
Shannon Briggs was quiet today.
Yeah, he wants to win. He actually, like, I've spoke to him off the camera. They want to win this fight. One thing that you guys probably don't see is the teams really want to win this fight. You know, Vidal, Shannon, Liam, Jeff Mayweather, like, you know, the Sidemen, you know, all these kind of people. They genuinely want the guy to win this fight. And, yeah, I mean, they're still up there now, clapping and all sorts. So they're up for this.
There's so many celebrity figures from the YouTube world here. When they're pushing the fight, is that what's driving the numbers on the zone?
No, well, they drive the numbers themselves, KSI and Logan Paul. There's no one bigger. But when you've got all of their teams who have 4 million, 5 million, 6 million, 7 million driving the fight as well, when you've got Justin Bieber, who's got 120 million followers on Instagram, posting saying, can't wait to be at the fight Saturday, I'm going for Logan Paul by knockout. What do you expect? Like, this is the world we live in. And sometimes in the boxing world, we're so sort of sheltered from the bigger world and the bigger picture, because boxing fans, and I'm probably the same as this, we love our sport, and sometimes we don't want anyone to come in. Like, you see the response from hardcore fans about casuals. Like, we hate casuals. Oh, you're a casual. Well, no, you're a casual. You're just someone that watches boxing every now and again and is not really an expert on boxing. What does that make you a bad person? No. Like, my mates, they only come to the big fights that I do. They don't come to the next gens at your call. You know? So, what are they? Casuals? Yeah. But those casuals, if we bring more of those casuals in, maybe we can turn them into hardcores. And what you're going to see on Saturday is a casual orgy of fight fans coming in to this mad event. Can we keep them? That's our job. That's our responsibility. Can you keep them? You know, all these people, the new audience that you've got, when you interview KSI or Logan Paul, you've got this whole new audience of people that have never watched IFL before. Can you keep them? Can you get them to subscribe to IFL? Bet you can. Bet you can.
Well, interviewing, for example, Joe Weller and Nico, I think his name is, and these characters from the YouTube world, that's how we're doing it. But Joe Weller raised a good point. Forget if there's any YouTube fighters on the card or celebrity fighters on the card. If it's just a normal boxing card, would you get people like Joe, who's working with Sky this week, just to present, be part of the team, to get a younger audience watching them?
Yes, but people are tuning in from that world because KSI and Logan Paul are fighting. If Joe Weller's up there talking about a fight, yeah, that helps raise numbers for that interview, and hopefully those same people then get interested in the fight. But let's not kid ourselves. The reason that people are tuning in is because they want to watch KSI and Logan Paul fight, and those two are huge stars, and they're driving 90% of this. Joe Weller, the Sidemen, Justin Bieber, Dan Bilzerian, whoever else. You know, it's all about a cumulative force of numbers working towards pushing all these algorithms, you know, like towards the hype of a must-see event. And it's happening. Like, we're seeing, it's just frightening, the numbers. Like, I've never seen anything like it.
Okay, let's move on to December 7th. We saw Andy Ruiz yesterday, went down to a gym. He's lost 3 pounds, so all the photos and the videos, etc., of him being slim.
He's probably done that from having a turnout. But, like, I don't expect him to... He'll probably come in a bit lighter. I don't think it's going to make a huge difference, to be honest with you, in the fight. Josh will probably be lighter as well. It's just going to come down to fight night. You know, it's going to come down to who's prepared the best, who executes the game plan on the night, and, you know, delivering on the night, on the performance that they've worked on.
For June 1st, we had Deontay Wilder fight, I think very close to the fight. It was a week before the fight, knocked out Dominic Brazil. He fights again very close to Joshua. When is it? 23rd in Las Vegas against Luis Ortiz. If he puts on another similar performance, say blast Luis Ortiz, do you think Joshua's going to have that pressure again, or is he just completely...
Not really, because for the first time, they're not thinking about anybody else other than Andy Ruiz. That was the mistake they made last time.
Did he think about that Wilder knockout?
I think he wanted to make a big impression in America, yeah. And he wanted to go for the grandstand KO. You know, and he had an opportunity to do it, but he should have broke him down slowly rather than just coming in with his chin in the air. Didn't need to do that, but that's what he does. That's why AJ's so exciting. He's a great finisher, you know, and he's exciting. And you get a lot of excitement December 7th.
Have you spoken to him recently? How is he?
Who?
Joshua.
Yeah, I was with him last Thursday. I watched him spar 12 rounds. Chisora was there this week. Some great sparring he's got in camp. He's in good shape. He's just learning, he's improving, he's excited. He's excited to try and solve the puzzle and get his belts back.
Keeping with the heavyweight theme, we know you're going to announce a card probably tomorrow in Phoenix. We've got a press conference tomorrow. Is Dylan Whyte likely to feature on that?
He won't be announced tomorrow. There is a chance he could box on that card, but we've got to put that card together and see what's happening.
What have you made of the whole situation where Dillian Whyte is mandatory for that WBC belt in 2021, basically allowing Fury and Wilder to have a trilogy?
Bored of talking about it. I mean, they made him mandatory to the winner of Wilder Fury, then they want to suspend him when he's not suspended by anyone. It's one rule for one rule for another, really. He should be mandatory to the winner of that fight, and, you know, we've been down this route a million times, spoke about it a million times, bored of speaking about it. Even when he's mandatory, they'll make him franchise champion anyway, so that's irrelevant.
Are you going to think about scrapping the WBC route and go down the WBO route?
No, listen, I think the WBC do some great things for the sport. I just don't agree with the franchise situation. I don't agree with the way they've treated Dillian Whyte. You know, it's not up to me. I'm sure Maurizio don't agree with a lot of things I've done, you know? But that's just the way it is. I'm not going to just keep my mouth shut and not say anything about it. I don't believe in the franchise championship. What's the point in aligning yourself to a governing body, deciding to chase a champion to try and be the best in the division, and when you get there, they take it away from you? That's what's happened to Devin Haney. That's what would happen to Dillian Whyte, and that's what would happen with Callum Smith and David Benavidez. So it's really frustrating.
Sticking with the WBC, they've got this new testing policy. Have you seen it or read any?
Higher levels of clenbuterol. Yeah, I haven't really seen enough about it, and I haven't seen enough about the other tests as well. I mean, look, mate, I don't know enough about Mexican meat and, you know, whatever have you, but I'll have to read it and see what the new policy is.
Okay, talking about tests, your fighter Julio Cesar Martinez reportedly failed a test for clenbuterol, high levels of clenbuterol, and then he won't face any punishment.
Not high levels of clenbuterol. Well, you said high levels of clenbuterol. I believe it was a tiny trace of clenbuterol. That's the whole issue with the WBC. Right. Yeah, what they're saying is it was a tiny trace of clenbuterol, and because of where they live and the food they eat, that does not count as a ban. Again, I haven't really seen the report. It wasn't sent to me. I'll have to look at it, and, you know, again, like, you know, you suspend Dillian Whyte when he's not suspended anywhere, but you don't suspend a fight. Like, the WBC shouldn't. This is the problem with VADA. VADA need to be issuing the suspensions, but they don't, because they're an independent agency. So it's up to the WBC to issue the suspensions, and they're not really kind of experienced enough or educated enough in that field to do it. If we had VADA issuing the suspensions, it would be a lot easier.
Okay, moving on to last night. Have you watched the New Danair? Another fight of the year contender. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it was early where we were, wasn't it? Like
4 a.m.
mid. Yeah. Again, another fight of the year. I mean, look at the content we've had on Sky and DAZN recently. You know, Gennady Golovkin against Derevyanchenko, the return of Alexander Usyk, Ritson against Davis was a brilliant fight. Prograis against Taylor, another fight of the year there. Canelo knocking out Kovalev to become a 4-weight world champion. The other night, Felix Cash against Jack Cullen, another fight of the year contender. Katie Taylor. Now you go into
Spence Porter.
Spence Porter. Then you got Inoue against Danair just happened. You know, you got this at the weekend. You got Callum Smith against John Ryder. You got Joshua against Ruiz coming up as well. Like, it's been an unbelievable little 6 or 7 weeks, you know. And hats off to Danair. Seems like he put up a great fight.
He signed a deal with Top Rank now, Inoue. Did you try and sign him?
No, it was done a while ago, actually. It's been done for quite a long time. I think they formally announced it today, but it's been done for a long time. Good fighter, man. You know, I enjoy watching him. He's a very good fighter.
All right, cheers, Eddie. We'll see you around tomorrow.
Cheers, we'll do.
Cheers.